What's poppin', guys and girls? Back with another banger video. Today we got something so special and so scary for you all that I know you guys have really wanted to hear this story. Today, guys, I'm gonna be explaining to you the complete true story of Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. I know you guys are absolutely loving the second movie. It's way better than the first one. More characters, great dialogue. Reese Frake Waterfield did a great job than the first one. I know you guys want to know, how does the story start? What does Winnie the Pooh does with his friends? Even Christopher Robin, what he does in his life. I know you guys are very curious to see. Before we actually begin, if you guys want to see another video where I explain every story about movies, comedy, horror, adventure, any kind of movie you love, drop a big like, leave a comment down below which movie you want me to react to next, and I'll do it for you all. Drop a big like on this video, subscribe to my channel if you're new, turn on the little bell, make sure to share this video with your friends because this one is the most important video I ever posted on my YouTube channel. And remember, if you don't like and subscribe, Winnie the Pooh and his friends are gonna come to find you. Without further saying, let's freaking start the story, boys and girls.
The beginning of the film occurred a year after the events of the first film, where the young boy Christopher befriended Winnie the Pooh and his friends in the 100-acre wood.
It is true.
Christopher used to bring them food regularly until he left to attend college. And because of this, the animals began to starve. Then they started going out and killing people. But Christopher somehow managed to escape from them in return. But at that time, Christopher was blamed for the deaths of all the girls in the jungle, as no animals were found during investigation. After that, the humans came into the jungle and set the entire forest on fire,
the 100-acre
causing
woods.
all the animals to die. But Winnie the Pooh and the rest had gone into hiding, so humans found no evidence of any animals, and all the blame for the deaths was put on Christopher. The police are still investigating Christopher's statement. A week later, 3 girls were calling out for the ghost in their car.
That's what we saw in the trailer, if you did remember.
The girls got quite scared, and then one of them came near the door. Then suddenly, a creature stabs another girl from behind and killed her.
Could have been Piglet or Pooh.
An animal named Owl had arrived. And
Yo, it's Owl, do you see it? He crushed one of the girl's hands with the door.
He turned their car around and
oh, yo, that's Winnie.
Where a girl escaped from there. She was trying to escape, but Pooh approached her and broke her hands and legs, and then he trapped
pushed her face
and
into
her
the bear
spot.
trap.
A girl was still alive, but Owl came to her and finished her right there. On the other side of the story, we see Christopher, who's having nightmares of the event of first film. He goes to his hypnotherapist Samantha and tells her that he's still having terrifying dreams. She tells her that everything will be fine and you should relax. Then Christopher meets his girlfriend and tells her about the situation he's in.
That's where she met her
Everyone
in the
thinks he's a
first
murderer,
movie.
But she tells her that people will soon
Mary,
forget
that's her
everything.
name.
She then drops Christopher off at his home, and where Frank, his friend, tells him that someone has written "murderer" on his father's car.
Murder spelled backwards. That's accurate. I did see some murders, they spell their name backwards.
Was still quite disturbed by these things. On the other side of the jungle, some hunters knew about the animals and had come to hunt them down. In a cave inside a tree, Owl approaches Pooh and says that first humans destroyed our homes, and now they wander around with guns to hunt us down. Owl blames Christopher for everything who made them hide inside a cave, but now they need to go out into the jungle and then into the city, especially to take revenge on Christopher. Pooh started thinking about this, and meanwhile, the hunters were advancing. One of them approached Piglet and started attacking him. He shot Piglet and finished him. Then
right in the
Pooh
face,
killed one
in
of
the
them,
head.
and then he proceeded to eliminate the other hunters one by one. But one hunter had survived, and he headed towards the city in a wounded state. On the other side, Christopher was treating a child in the hospital when his boss called him.
That's
and said,
his
"There are a lot
that's
of
his
rumors
job. He
circulating
does
about him
work
in the
at the
city,
hospital.
and until
He
the
also saw in the
accusations
trailer
against him are
too.
proven wrong, Christopher cannot work in the hospital." Christopher then replied, "No problem," and he left from there. Meanwhile, the injured hunter was brought in, and the nurse said that he had been attacked by some animals in the jungle, or so it seemed. Then Christopher started thinking about this, and then he came home. On the other side, a man was showing birds to his son in the jungle. The child was quite happy until he saw Owl there and got scared and ran away. Owl then took his father away and started.
Yeah, that's a very accurate kidnapping.
Then Pooh and Owl both watches his body floating in the river from the bridge.
They call this
Christopher
game
then goes
Pooh
to his therapist,
sticks, like
Samantha,
throwing
again.
sticks in the
This
river.
time, Samantha was hypnotizing Christopher so that he could remember his childhood. And then Christopher was hypnotized. She asked him to remember the incident from his childhood that affected him the most, and then Christopher remembered that he was playing hide and seek in the jungle with his brother Billy, along with other children's. Billy was hiding in a car, and then a man kidnapped him, and Christopher had seen that man too. Christopher remembered this thing and got scared and said he saw a man taking his brother away in front of him. But
Yeah, the old man that he explained to Christopher about Winnie the Pooh and his friends. If you also see, I did react to the best scenes of the film that you guys really love so much. Make sure to go check it out after this one. Also the trailer reaction that you guys absolutely blowing up.
One by one in the most terrifying way possible. Then Christopher came home and tells Kate about the kidnapping of his brother Billy, which he remembered during therapy session. Later, Christopher was reading about the case of the missing children, and then he found out that other 7 children, like Billy, had been kidnapped and given to a scientist named Arthur, who was experimenting on the children, but all the children inside were killed. The next day, an officer comes to meet Christopher. He informs him that animals and people are being killed in the jungle, including his team who was searching for them.
Yep.
Christopher tells him to take care of himself and he will find out about this. Then Christopher came back from there and went to a club with Danny and Frank, where preparations for a party was underway.
Yup.
But a girl there said that Christopher's presence wouldn't go. Christopher tells him to take care of himself and he will find out about this. Then Christopher came back from there and went to a club with Danny and Frank, where preparations for a party was underway. But a girl there said that Christopher's presence wouldn't go well with the people there because everyone in the city considers him a murderer.
No,
So,
he's not. It was
Christopher
Winnie
left
the
from
Pooh
there.
and his friends. They are the
Christopher met
murderers.
injured man who was in the hospital and asked him if the people who attacks him looks like animals. The man wrote and confirmed that he is correct.
They
At that
do
moment,
this.
Christopher saw Jack outside, who was watching him.
Yeah, that's
Christopher
Arthur
remembered that Jack
watching
had
him. That's
kidnapped
the
his
creepy
brother
man
Billy in
that
childhood,
he
and then
kidnapped
went
his little
outside,
brother,
but by then
William
Jack had
Robin.
disappeared from there. On the other hand, Frank was taking a bath and then he found a note outside the house, which led him to follow it and come outside the house. On the other side, Owl came and killed Frank, then he threw acid on his face and completely disfigured his face.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Christopher followed Jack to his house, and then he confronted him. Jack was quite scared there, and then Christopher asked why did he kidnap his brother. Then Jack apologizes to him and said he kidnapped the children for Arthur. He used to pay him for that. Arthur experimented on the children by injecting genes of different animals into their bodies, which gave them the regeneration factor so that they never die. But all those experiments failed, and all the children died due to mutations. Then Arthur, along with him, released those children into the jungle, but after a few days, the mutation of regeneration started working inside them, and they came out as half human and half animal. Arthur died, but this saga is still going on. Jack said all of this happened because of him and took his own life. Then Christopher also got scared by this revelation. On the other hand, Danny was putting Rand to sleep when she heard a voice from outside, which was her father, who was calling Danny on the phone. Danny and Rand hid there, and they hid the camera at home and looked around everywhere. Then they noticed Pooh at home, who had broken the camera, and Pooh moved forward to find them in the house. But then both of them escaped from there from the other side, and then they met officers outside who they informed them about Pooh. The officers went inside the house, and then Pooh attacked an officer and killed him. His screams were heard outside, and Danny also heard them. On the other hand, Christopher was reading reports from Arthur's house, and then he found out that Pooh, Piglet and the other animals were all children, and Arthur had experimented on them, which resulted in changes in their bodies. Even after dying, they came back to life, and Billy was actually Winnie the Pooh after mutation.
Yup.
Then Christopher received a call from Danny, who said that Pooh had attacked their house. Danny then tells him that Pooh knew about her, that she's Christopher's girlfriend. He also killed Frank and maybe he knows about Christopher's family too. Meanwhile, Pooh arrived at Christopher's house. Inside, Alan, Lexi and Kate were busy with their work. And then Kate felt someone near her. She turned around and sees Pooh. She runs to take the knife, but Pooh comes from behind and caught her, stabbing her mouth with the knife, finishing her there. Then Lexi and Alan came downstairs, and Lexi heard Alan's screams, and then Pooh appeared in front of her. After a while, Pooh came to Christopher's room and he started looking at all his pants and toys. A few hours later, Christopher reached his house, but by then
because
everyone was
he
already
thinks
dead,
back of
and
his
he was
childhood
broke with
when he
tears.
first met him,
He
if
took
you
a
remember
photo
the
of
first
Billy from
movie.
there and left with it. On the other hand, there was a party going on in a place in the city, and Pooh entered there and killed a boy. Then he went inside and started brutally killing all the young teenage at the party one by one. Then Christopher learned about the rampage at the club on the radio, where Pooh and Tiger had appeared and started
Tigger,
killing
yeah.
everyone one by one
I
by
did
cutting
see
their
that
heads
scene.
off. A girl is then shown hiding there, and then Tiger came to her and cut her foot with his claws, drinking all her blood. Meanwhile, Christopher had arrived there with a gun, and then a girl told him that Pooh might have gone in the opposite direction. But right then, Tiger appeared in front of Christopher, and Christopher shot him with the gun, injuring him and making him flee. On the other side, Pooh was still killing everyone, and a boy was seen hiding in the generator. Then Pooh increased and killed him there, and then started cutting a
he
girl's
starts
head with a
turning up the
saw.
generator and
Meanwhile,
kills the little
Christopher was
boy.
running back from the back road, and there, Pooh came forward with a chainsaw, ready to fight, and there, Pooh injured Christopher.
Kind of reminds me of
and then
the
both fled into the
Leatherface
jungle
from
and
the
came across
Texas
at one point
Chainsaw
where Pooh was
Massacre,
about to kill
or
Christopher.
Victor Crowley
Then he
from
remembered that it was the
Atchit.
same
He had
place
a
where he
big
was left as a
chainsaw,
child.
if you did
But after
remember.
Arthur's mutation, he came out of there, and memories of his childhood started coming back to Pooh. Then Christopher said, "You are my brother Billy, and forgive me for not being able to save you." And then Pooh was about to pick up Christopher to kill him, and right there, Danny arrived, where Pooh was about to put her in the chainsaw to kill her too. And then Christopher came
Grab
from
the
behind
axe
cut off
and
Pooh's
swing
head.
it on his head,
Then Christopher
killing
and Danny
him
were
for
devastated
once.
by what happened. Both of them met with the police outside, and then the officer said that Christopher's sister Lexi was safe. Lexi came and met Christopher, and Christopher was happy to be with his sister Lexi and Danny. They all managed to escape from there safely. Due to the footage of the animals in the city, the police also found out that Christopher hadn't done anything, so he was acquitted and released. So, that's the end of our movie. If you've come this far, make sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe my channel. See you later.
So now that you guys know the complete true story about Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2, now you already know it. Anyways, if you enjoyed this story about Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2, what horror movie should I do next? Maybe next I'll do Imaginary. Make sure to drop a big like if you guys want to see that in the next video. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. Turn on the little bell. Share this video with your friends. And without further saying, bye bros and girls. Bros out. Fist out.